Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yoko and Frisky's Dimensional Rift. Today, yes, and today it is a special day. We're going to be reviewing the 90s Part 2 with children from the 90s. We have Maddie.
Part 2.
We have Choo Choo, Chelsea Dubois. And we have Pesky, Pescarelli, Pesto the Rabbit.
Konnichiwa.
And my brother from another mother, Frisky.
Hello, welcome back to part 2. I hope you enjoyed part 1. This time I will not be eating breakfast, so you can rest easy.
Or be offended.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, and we forgot one more person. Your buddy and mine, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yes. Who are you?
Yes. So, how should we start this off? We had fond memories of the 90s. We should go around in a circle.
Wait,
So,
before we start this, I want to give a shout out because since we recorded the first part, there's been an announcement of an Animorphs movie. It's like they listened to our podcast and were like, yo, we need to greenlit this shit right now.
you deserve it.
They know. You're an influencer now.
I'm 100% hyped for this. I am so ready.
Yes.
K.A. Applegate.
Yeah, hopefully she won't have her ghostwriters write the script. But I think it should be a series, not a movie, to be honest. But you know what? I'll take it. As long as they, cast correctly, they make it dark. They stay to the themes of the kids and war and give us some good special effects, man. Because the ones on Nickelodeon, that was like, KB Toys status effects.
I'm wondering if they're gonna try to do a more modern story set in modern times, and I'm not totally sure how to feel about it, but I will be very excited when the trailer comes out.
They should keep it in the 90s, I think. Keep it a period
Also,
piece.
I need some good 90s. I mean, who really wants to live in 2020?
Yo, my neighbor said the same thing this afternoon to me. Real talk.
They ain't lying.
Yeah.
My neighbors haven't said shit to me in weeks because it's 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they were talking to you like that before the pandemic.
You right.
I also want to bring up the fact that they just did an honest trailer for the Goofy movie, which is like your favorite movie, Yoko.
Why do you say it's my favorite movie?
Because
I love the music.
You told me.
It's excellent. Excellent movie.
It's a fan favorite, okay?
Fight me.
But yeah, we're all children of the 90s, so let's start off with Chewpeke. Give me some some of your fond memories of the 90s growing up in your childhood.
Well, just to reiterate off of the Goofy movie that we just spoke about, that is such an excellent time capsule of the 90s itself. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. But yeah, I told Yoko a few weeks ago that I had an experience that was very special.
Yes.
So basically, I'm an over-the-road truck driver. So I was stopped at a truck stop for the evening, and the next morning I got up to go in and grab an iced coffee before I headed out. And this was the TA truck stop in Mount Vernon, Illinois, and I go inside this building, and there's like a little huddle house in there, a restaurant. It was closed down, but I walk into this building, and it's very clear to me immediately that this building was built in the 90s and was generally never updated in any way, because as you walk into, past this huddle house, you walk into this arcade to get through to the other side where the convenience store part is. and there are arcade games in there, including like a double-person Tomb Raider game. The walls were painted a bright, I would say, Sonic blue, and the edges of like the corners of the wall that projected out, they had that, like, you know, that diamond plating that you'll see on like a truck box on the back of a truck, you know?
Yeah.
Like that there, you know, and it screams 90s, right? And then on top of that, as I'm walking in, I hear, "This is the rhythm of the night, the night, oh yeah." And so, you know, I'm heading to the bathroom, and
Hell
for
yeah.
20 seconds, like, even the buildings had that kind of smell. I don't know how to describe it, but it was that slightly older building smell, maybe like a tinge musky, you know. But I'm walking through, and I see a fax machine as I'm walking past, you know, and I'm hearing this music, and I'm for a solid 20 seconds, I really thought I was in the 90s.
Flashbacks kicked in.
I was so comfortable for 20 seconds. Like, there was no problems in the world for 20 seconds. Like, it was just, it was quite an experience. And I have so many fond memories of the 90s. I think of, you know, me being a young kid. Now, I was born March of 89. You know, I'm sure a lot of us went to, like, you know, daycare, or, you know, like, I remember a lot of my summers were, you know, like musty arcades, you know, like dark, and you get like a big slice of, like a giant slice of pizza afterwards, you know, and a lot of those, like,
It's so
you
beautiful.
call them, like, family fun centers, you know, like go-karts and stuff like that, you know, simpler time.
Yeah, and you got like the different tokens from everyone in your pocket.
Oh yeah, like, I always loved claw machines because, you know, I'm a child and I still love my stuffed animals.
You're really good at claw machines. She won me
Oh,
Miles Morales and T'Challa.
dude, and I love those claw machines because they were 25 cents a piece. Like, that was great. That was great. But yeah, I was a really lucky child because I grew up in Central Florida, and so, like, sometimes up to twice a year, I went to Disney World during the best time of Disney World, before all of the, you know, corporate takeover and everything. And I had the Disney Renaissance films through my childhood. Like, you know, breaking into the 80s was when they were really starting to regularly market to children with cartoons and toys and stuff. But I'm going to say the 90s perfected that. And it's only generally, in my opinion, gone downhill since. The way that they marketed, oh my gosh, just toys and cereal and food and music and all that. I just kind of, I missed that. Remember when we just had cable and we didn't have streaming services? It was just cable.
Fuck that. Some things have improved since the 90s. Let's talk about that.
It's hot takes.
We can talk about what's improved, or
Well, tell us
talk about other things.
what you like personally growing up. Like, what was your jams? What were your movies? What were your toys? Your games?
Oh my gosh. I always loved the music in particular. For me, it was, and I've been listening to a lot of it recently, is like Biggie and Tupac, Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men, Aaliyah, TLC. It was black excellence in the R&B industry at the time. Just good stuff.
Oh my god, yeah! I was chasing waterfalls, and I'm proud to say I was. Yeah!
I always thought it was Jason Waterfalls.
Dude, I had a does the same thing.
I'm
Like,
just so-
Go Jason Waterfalls.
I'm just
please,
stupid. Don't mind me. There's 3 movies I forgot to mention on the last episode that were like big movies for me growing up. First of all was Toy Story.
Oh, fuck yeah, bro.
Toy Story is the jam. That's like
Essential movies.
exactly like I think all of them are like really great. You know, I don't think there's a bad Toy Story movie.
It has to be one of the first movies I remember watching on VHS.
Right, and it
It's
was
also the fact that fascinating to watch the glow up of the technology over the years. From like the way that the dog looked in the first movie to the way Andy looked in the last movie is just like leaps and bounds.
Exactly. It was one of the first like full CGI movies coming out of this unknown studio that's called, Pixar. And, it's a great movie. Like, I can always watch it front to back. I never get bored of it. The toys were iconic. I wanted that Buzz action figure with the karate chop action and the glow in the dark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they never had it in stores. Like, they had Buzz, but it didn't have all the features that the movie Buzz had. And I was always upset about that. And then, they had the...
I think that...
Oh, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there. My cousin had the exact replica of Buzz Lightyear straight from the movie. It had Buzz Lightyear from the rescue, and his fingers would move, and when you press the other button, his wings would come out, and it was a big toy. We're talking, let's go up to your shins. Kid had it, man. And he had Woody, but he was just like, it's all about Buzz. I was like, dang.
Well, fuck that kid. For having a better childhood than me. Not
Rude, it's my cousin.
I had a pretty decent childhood, so I'm not even mad.
Nah.
We had good video games in the 90s, man. That shit was a good fucking period.
Yeah, what games did you play, John?
Fucking anything PlayStation 1, like the Crash Bandicoots and the Spyros and the Resident Evils and the Tomb Raiders, all the polygonal goodness.
Did you hear...
Something about them just had a more like... They all tried to have that extreme kind of vibe that everything was in the 90s, right?
See,
They were
this
all
is
trying
why...
to be super edgy and cool instead of like gritty.
This is why you're my boy. PlayStation Buds for life.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Hell
Nintendo.
yeah.
Did you hear about the announcement of Crash Bandicoot 4?
I did. I'm concerned.
Why?
I'm not concerned. It's like a dream.
I want to see the animation style in action. I haven't actually watched that, whatever they showed. They have a video or something, a trailer?
Yeah, they have a trailer. The character design looks great. Crash has little puppy paws at the bottom of his shoes, and his sister looks good. And I was like, oh my god! They really did it. They, instead of, what was that? They had that after Twinsanity. They had Crash Bandicoot and
Crash
the Titans.
Crash Bandicoot Files for unemployment.
I'm a little jaded about remakes after my RE3 remake experience, so I just want to see. Well, not remakes.
Hot takes.
Revivals.
Hot takes.
Revivals, I guess.
Did you get down
We'll
with?
see.
Did you play N64?
Fuck yeah, I did, man.
What was like always in your system?
Majora's Mask was like my go-to Zelda game. And
That's the one where the moon tries to kill
Super
you.
Smash Brothers, of course.
Yeah, Super Mario Smash Brothers.
And then I didn't play too much Super Mario 64, to be honest with you. I was one of those weird kids. I had it, I played it, but I definitely played a lot more Zelda. Played a lot more Super Smash Brothers.
Do you ever notice that there isn't any brothers? There ain't no brothers in Smash Brothers. Unless you count Mr. Game & Watch, but he didn't come on to the sequel.
You're funny. Maddie, what did you play?
I actually grew up with parents that were super, because my dad used to work in a pinball arcade, and my mom actually, she was a strong believer in video games. Like, she made my dad sleep on the couch because he wouldn't buy an Xbox for me.
Damn.
Like, legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. That's cool.
Yeah, so I was all about the Game Boy. I had the Game Boy digital camera. I had Pokemon. I had Zelda. I had
Man.
Tetris.
Game Boy
I had
camera.
Oh yeah.
Man,
It's
When
a relic.
peripherals were like a big fucking thing for all of the game systems in the 90s. Like, that was a big thing that Nintendo really like rocked on. Was
Yo,
all the
peripherals.
for the Game Boy and shit. All of the connections you could do.
Peripherals.
Commercials for all the video games.
They actually nailed like multiplayer across systems before it was like really feasible with their like link cable stuff on the Game Boy. Like no one else was doing that.
That's true.
Nintendo basically built their whole company on peripherals. Like, look at the Wii, man. You want to play golf? We got something for that. You want to play baseball? We got something for that. You want to fish? Here's a fishing rod. Like, that's what Nintendo's good at. And then you can connect your Game Boy to the GameCube and unlock, like, I don't know, an extra horse for like Barbie Horse Adventure or something. And then they had the e-reader for the Game Boy Advance. And they had you could watch TV on your Game Boy. I remember you could watch like SpongeBob. Like Nintendo's always throwing out like these extra peripherals. They had one, I think it was called like the N64 like Double D. You could play like, you know, these advanced games, but it never took off in the US. I think it was
They
Japanese
even had
exclusive.
a CD port for the N64 because Sony and
Yeah.
Nintendo were collabing, and it just didn't work out. The marriage just didn't work.
I can't believe we never got the disc drive.
But if we got that disc drive, we might never have gotten PlayStation.
I'm so much younger than you guys. I don't even know what disc drive you're talking about.
Her name is Xbox.
Google it. Yeah, I love my N64, man. Like, I still have it close by. It's under my couch right now.
Probably still works.
It still works. My dream...
That's the thing about those fucking old systems. They were all made to last. All the new parts, like, for some reason, the technological standards decreased for longevity.
Yeah,
So it's
let me tell you, if it had a disc drive, it probably wouldn't work anymore, because I tried playing my Dreamcast a few months ago, and it was like, nope, you're canceled.
Cartridges.
Oh,
Something
you
about
know-
cartridges. They're a solid fucking format.
Yeah,
Your
that's-
Dreamcast, the disc drive might be either too dirty and old. You can get it fixed easy. You could even take out the disc drive and replace it with a hard drive, and then all your games are on there.
It's okay. My Dreamcast ended the same way all my other relationships do. Covered in dust under a bed.
Ouch.
But you know, like let's bounce off of toys because there's two in particular I got to talk about. Well, we'll change that to three. One is Furbys because that was just a sensation, and the fact that the FBI banned them from government offices is another fantastic thing about them because they were recording things.
Oh.
And
No shit.
Wow.
Furbies were demonic. Furbies were fucking demonic. They were banned because they were actually a gateway to hell. That's my theory.
I agree.
I think they were all possessed because you could. I swear, I know it was probably some like reasonable thing that could be explained here, but you could take the batteries out of a Furby and that shit'll still keep talking for a while, and that's not okay. That's not okay.
Hungry.
Me
That
once
shit
snoo
wanted
snoo.
blood. That's what it was hungry for.
My
That is a
stepfather-
horror movie in waiting.
It should have been a horror movie.
Oh, yeah, it was, I had a Furby, and I loved terrifying my stepdad with it, and I would put it next to him when he was sleeping. It was
Oh, that's terrible. That's bullying.
I know, it was bullying, but, man, yeah, I had that Furby for a long time, and I love that they're kind of making a comeback these days with people making custom ones or doing the long body ones. I think they're
Oh man, there must be truth to that Mayan apocalypse thing then. If we're bringing back Furbies, because that's a bad sign.
I think that's hilarious. And then the next toy, real quick, that I also want to cover is Tamagotchis. Oh my gosh. Every kid in school had one of those things, and
Tamagotchis,
every kid had it taken from them because they were messing around with it during class.
Or you went to Catholic school, it was a sin, and then you could forever not go and have your own Tamalushi.
Do you mean Dreamcast memory cards? Because that was my version of the Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi. Remember they were like, Tamagotchis for boys or Digimon or something like that.
They were. I had 2 Digivices, and I would wear them all the time. And you take a certain number of steps, you would get into a Digimon battle. And, you know, it's just 2 buttons on the thing, so you just keep pressing the 2 buttons. It was Pokemon Go for $19.99.
That's Pokemon Go. Yeah, exactly.
Unless you had the, what was it, the Pikachu game? There was a Pikachu one. Pika Pet.
Yeah, the Pocket. I never had that one, but I had the Gigapet cat, and the one that I wanted was they had a Sabrina the Teenage Witch Salem one, and I
Yeah!
Damn.
And if I see that, I will buy it.
People,
No questions asked.
there's a guy on YouTube, it's funny you say that, who, he just collects nothing but Tamagotchis and Gigapets and then goes over them. You'd think it would be a girl that does it, but nope.
Yeah, so I remember those, and you know, it was funny. My mom actually had bought one for me like a few years ago, just like as just a, oh, do you remember these things sort of thing, and I was like, I ain't gonna mess with this. You know, it was funny that those were so crazy popular. But the last really popular one that I'm going to talk about is Beanie Babies. What was going on?
Gross.
I remember when McDonald's put them in Happy Meals, and I shit you not, we were in the McDonald's and people were buying Happy Meals, throwing the food away, and taking this piece of cloth with plastic beans in it as just a great reward for throwing away the food. I was traumatized.
Oh, they do the same thing with the Monopoly game. They just buy it for the stickers.
Yeah.
Dude.
So man, Beanie Babies though, like I knew people that had totes of those things, like multiple totes of just Beanie Babies. Like, they're gonna be worth something someday, and some of them were, but that was crazy. What was up with that?
Dude, when I was in school, there was this girl who was super rich, and daddy wanted to please his kids, and he bought every expensive Beanie Baby on the market, and the girls didn't even want them. The girls, they legit told me, they're like, we don't know why dad keeps buying these. They had like 16 garbage bags filled with Beanie Babies. Like, they liked it at first, and then after the fact, they were like, this is boring.
Such famous 90s tropes as trying to buy your daughter's love.
Yes, I was just going to say, daddy's buying the love he couldn't provide emotionally.
That's absurd.
The worst part was, like, he was older, so he didn't know how to interact with, like, when I mean older, he, like, in the 90s, he was, like, 65.
Oh,
So,
God, I was crying.
yeah.
He was in his prime.
Yeah.
You guys are glossing over the biggest toy of the 90s, which is the Tickle Me Elmo. Yo, people were getting into fist fights over this thing. I remember Black Friday, it was like a war zone.
I'll say this much. That was actually the one year of my childhood that my parents were like, we're so glad you like video games, because, wow, it is easy to please you. That's the one year they ever said that. Every other year, it was like, you really need another Pokemon game? We bought you one 2 years ago. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I never got a Tickle Me Elmo, but I remember like watching the news and just seeing all these stories of these moms going nuts over it. And it was the Karen apocalypse of the 90s. Like, you saw people getting into fights in the parking lot of Toys R Us and like KB Toys and shit. It was nuts.
The true celebration of consumerism.
Yeah,
So
and
much
honestly,
a Christmas movie based on it called Jingle All the Way.
No, there is?
yeah, where it's Power Rangers instead. It's such a parody. It's so
Yeah,
good.
with Arnold Schwarzenegger, remember?
He's two babies.
Put the cookie down now.
Oh no! I have to get the turbo, man.
I love that movie because it resonates with me, because I was that kid who wanted every single Power Ranger. So watching that movie was like watching my life, and it was this cheap knockoff. It was this cheap knockoff of Power Rangers. Like, he had the Turbo Man, he had the little jetpack and stuff, and he fought like these colorful goons, and you just have Arnold Schwarzenegger in this weird. It's weirdly dark too, because they had like a terrorist joke in there. They had like a pedophile joke in there, and it's all directed like towards Sinbad. So If you're a Sinbad fan, you're probably not enjoying Jingle All the Way because he's like a super villain. He becomes the villain at the end of the movie, and he fights Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's trying to like kill his kid over a freaking action figure. It's peak 90s bonkersness.
That's beautiful.
Honestly, that would be for a good bad movie night.
Yo, Christmas theme.
It sounds beautiful.
You never seen it?
That's a drink and draw right there.
Have you never seen it, John?
That's even better. Drink and draw.
Oh man, if you guys haven't seen it, you guys need to check it out. Like it's
I haven't
bananas.
seen Jingle All the Way since I was 6 years old.
And you also have like the pervy neighbor. The pervy neighbor's trying to get with Arnold's wife. It's like this dude can't catch a break, man. Like he's missing his kid's karate tournament. You know, he can't get the doll, and then on top of that, his neighbor is like perving hard on his wife. Like it's Arnold against the world, man. I think he deserved an Oscar for that performance.
Put the cookie down.
Maddie.
Cookie down.
Maddie, did you have any like nostalgic movies you hang on to?
Oh yeah, and I even had the tie-in toys. Beethoven. I love those Saint Bernard movies. They were the Air Bud of their time. They were awesome, and I was like, and my parents were like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "I would like the Beethoven set from Little's Pet Shop." And they're like, "Oh, okie dokie."
I fully agree. I loved the sequel more than the first one.
There's so
Dude,
many.
I had the toys from that too, and the little wagon you get.
Yeah, I still have them, and like just the little collars on the puppies. It's so cute. I love that, and I will be passing that on to my kids or nieces or nephews or however it shakes out.
Yeah, when me and Yoko we were writing this song about the 90s, she listed like all dog movies. She listed Balto, Air Bud, the Goofy movie, Homeward Bound. I'm like, damn, did you watch anything besides dog movies?
I wonder what her childhood was centered around.
Jesus.
Shut up.
But dude,
Shut up.
no shame, baby. I won't shame you. I even like some obscure ones like Fluke and Napoleon. If you saw either of those,
Saw them.
yeah. See, me too, fam. It's all good. It's all good.
See, I saw Fluke literally on a fluke. I didn't know what the hell that movie was. And then, you know, I thought, you know, watching that movie, I was like, wow, this is my dog. Because, like, there was a scene. Okay, guys, you got to know this. So there was a scene in Fluke where basically a guy dies and he's reincarnated as a dog.
Oh,
Right?
I cried so hard at that.
Oh, yeah. And freaking, he meets his wife. His wife adopts him. Okay? And,
This is someone's fetish.
yes. And then,
fun.
it gets better. She takes a shower and she just starts watching him.
Oh, it's
And-
someone's fetish.
Yeah.
What the
And
fuck?
freaking, yeah, I'm not even joking. And
Yeah, it
freaking,
was weird.
my dog, when I was little at the time, would watch my grandma shower.
Wow. What?
And I was
Funny.
little, so I was just like, oh, I guess this is, you know, maybe grandma knew him in the former life. And,
It's like that movie, A Dog's Way Home, or A Dog's Life, where the dog is constantly reincarnated.
Oh, those movies make me sob. I can't handle it.
big baby. You big baby.
I am big baby,
Man, baby.
big baby man.
Big,
Baby.
the big baby man is down.
There was one movie I totally like forgot to mention on the last episode, and that was Home Alone. Like, that's my jam, man. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like Home Alone 1 and 2.
And there was only 2 people who are listening. There are only 2.
But what about
Say
the third
no.
one?
There's only 2. I'll choke you.
What about the
No.
You see, what was great about those movies is that you can't really do a Home Alone today because there's just like Life Alert, the internet, there's social media.
They definitely did not age well for a remake.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
The kid would have to be like in the middle of the woods or some shit to have it be effective, and he probably have like AT&T, so that's why he can't call the cops. You know, they'll just have to like make so many excuses for this scenario to happen. But 1990, that was like the year to do something like that because you know kids movies were big, and Macaulay Culkin was like an up and coming star. And you got like Joe Pesci playing the
Oh yeah,
Wet
Joe
Bandits.
fucking Pesci, man.
And Daniel Stern, yo, that's like an iconic villain duo. Like they were like so great. They really look like true like scumbags that just came off the street and want to rob some houses. Like it was perfect casting. But of course, you know, everybody remembers it for like the crazy ass like traps at the end. Like there's a popular theory online that Kevin McAllister grew up to become Jigsaw.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's a theory. It's a conspiracy.
Wow. I want
That's
to
an
watch
interesting
that movie.
But dude, like it's right there, man. He's creating plans, and all the traps are like designed to kill people. Like there's a video on YouTube called Honest Action, and they tell you how many times the Wet Bandits should have been killed. And I think the first movie was like 4 times, and then the second one was like 8. It's hilarious, man. You gotta watch that video if you haven't seen it.
Oh my god. And like what if they discover that they're like actually superheroes so you have like complete role reversal?
Oh, they were the heroes the entire time?
Oh no, like where the scumbags turn their life around, like they see the light after realizing they're indestructible. Or maybe they're worse, I don't know.
Yeah, that they could use that angle for like a reboot, you know? Like the Wet Bandits are turning their life around and they decide to like help the community or, you know, become crime fighters. That'd be interesting. Like Macaulay Culkin's like always joking about doing a reboot of Home Alone. He posted like a tweet. He's like, "This is Home Alone now," and he's just on his couch like watching Netflix.
Oh,
and eating
so
takeout.
sad.
Yeah, like he does a podcast too. Like Macaulay Culkin's a really funny dude.
Macaulay Culkin's a very interesting man. If you look into his backstory and some of the people he hung out with in his post-child actor phase, like that's the thing about the '90s child actors, man.
Yeah,
There were a lot of those that did not really grow up to be so good. You know what I mean?
But-
and by good, I don't mean like good at acting. I mean just like
Not
just
good
doing
people.
well in their life. You know what I mean?
well,
You know
What was up with the? Sorry, go ahead.
One thing I've noticed about movies from the 90s was the way that they glorified rich people. And I'm going to give you 3 movie
you know,
examples. for
Richie
that.
Rich.
First off, obviously Batman.
Yeah.
Batman real quick just because, superhero can buy anything that he wants, that sort of thing. But I was going to dive into Richie Rich, obviously, like the way they glorified, like, he has his own roller coaster, and in his house he has his own McDonald's, and like, wow, as a kid, that's super cool,
Because if I were rich, the first thing I'd want in my house is a fucking McDonald's. I really want shit on the dollar menu when I can afford a filet mignon every night. But yeah, exactly.
And then the last one, well, this one's slightly different, but do you guys remember Blank Check?
Yeah, I remember Blank Check. The
Yes.
before Richie Rich came out, which I felt was a better movie than Richie Rich.
Yeah, I like Blank Check, like, at least, like, near the end, I don't know, like, he kind of, like, comes around, like, honestly, they're both kind of the same movie, just slightly different.
That's what I was... yeah.
You know what was also big?
Chauffeur driver.
Hold on, I got a question for John. If you had like unlimited money, what restaurant would be in your house?
Stop it! Stop!
Oh, can I pick? Does it have to be fast food or can I just pick like
Yeah, pick whatever you want.
Dino Barbecue?
Yeah, my boy.
It's too solid of a choice.
Yeah, she knows about Dino Barbecue too, because she's
They
from
have
Brooklyn.
beer too, so it's a win-win. You get a bar and you get barbecue food. Like, what else could you need in life?
Cider and the catfish. I love their catfish.
Oh, I've not had their catfish. I always go for the brisket. Stuff hits home.
The deviled eggs are on point. The wings.
Their mac and cheese. 90s. Oh man,
Uh,
I took Michelle there for the first time the other day. She absolutely loved it.
I know, and I wasn't invited. Blech.
Yeah, it happens. Delicious. Don't
Shout
worry,
out.
next time.
What a
Also,
pain.
Cocktail White Lightning. Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, it sounds so fancy and I want to go.
I
want to go.
I've taken you to Dino Barbecue before.
I know, but I can't. I want to just hang out.
I once, but that was with Frisky. Yeah.
Shadow, that was rude. Shadow, that was rude.
Shadow doesn't care. Wow. That's a button. Anyway, you know what was another like big subgenre in the 90s? Like a lot of animal movies, you know, like Dunstan Checks In. You know, we talked
Hated
about
it.
Air Bud. Why you gotta hate on the monkeys?
Hated it.
That's not nice.
If it's not a dog movie, I don't want it.
Doctor
What about horse movies?
Dr. Doolittle.
What about horse movies? Horse movies were always popular, no matter what year it was. Honestly, no, Black
see,
Beauty.
For which gender?
First, exactly. Okay,
Oh, I
first of
remember
all,
a damn horse movie.
I could not watch a horse movie because, again, went to that school. All the popular girls were into horses or rode horses and would never fight.
Oh, you went to a school where horse girls were actually a real thing?
Yes.
Whoa. I thought that was a myth.
No. Every stereotypical thing that you've seen on TV, I lived it.
Wow.
Babysitter's Club, lived it.
You-
Clueless, lived it. Mean Girls, lived it. I was basically Steve Urkel, girl version, lived it.
I
Best
love
thing I got is Superbad. That's the closest.
Oh, it's a different decade.
I would say, for me, vaguely, and this is going to sound weird, Italian Job. Somewhere in between Charlize Theron and a lot of Seth Green's character. But without the bashing.
Interesting.
Yeah, because, for horses, we actually had a really cool day camp near us. Basically, for 2 weeks, you spend $100 and you figure out if you like horses or not. And
That's
the
so
way
funny.
that they got away with it is they're like, you help clean out some of the stalls. So it's like, you pay $100, you learn how to take care of the horses, and you get to ride them. And they were like, yeah, we got everything taken care of. We're turning a profit. And it's like,
Sick.
Wow.
yeah, they were all like rescue horses too. It was kind of like, I did not know that rescue horses were a thing. They were like, you can adopt one. And I was-
Rescue horses, the power's in you.
Wait, you had a horse when you were living in New York?
well, no, that was when I was in middle school in Connecticut.
Oh, you're on my side of the thingy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but like no, same deal. Like you can go to Bronx and they have an amazing stable. Like you can just like legit ride out there.
Oh, I did that. I was actually,
Yeah.
it was nice.
I'm only familiar with the horse stables because John Wick used the horse to kill somebody.
Wait,
Oh yeah, and John Wick 2.
What?
Yeah.
No, John Wick 3 he uses a horse to kill like 2 people.
That movie was baffling.
You loved it. Yoko, were you allowed to watch Dr. Doolittle?
My parents let me watch anything I wanted. When I was in school, though, as a kid, I know I keep referring to myself back in the Catholic school days. People were more sheltered than me, except for that rich girl, the rich popular girls, because they got to do anything that they wanted, and me, I just was like,
Man.
I get to watch everything. And then I had that one friend who was like straight A student who was like, I can't watch anything that's PG without a parent because that's how I'm not even joking. The box says parental guidance, and I can't watch Roger Rabbit with you.
Very, very different Catholic school experiences. Like, I basically just went to a public school that you paid for. It's like, I don't know what Catholic school you went to, but that's crazy.
I went to like a really prestigious Catholic school, like best scores in the state Catholic school. Like, we're talking, you can go to any high school and even college through those, like this. My mom put me to work.
Cool.
I grew up lower middle class kid that was watching South Park when it first came out. I was in like what, 4th grade?
Oh yeah, let's talk about South Park, yo. It's still
way ahead of its time.
South Park, man. Like I remember the animation style of like the construction paper cutout stuff. You know, like how simplified it was. Like what a time to be alive. And Chef was always one of my favorites.
yo.
Chef
I
is
miss
a true icon of the 90s.
I miss Chef, man. Like they really lost something big when Chef left the show. You
He
know,
was an element of that show.
He was the heart of the
was
show.
An essential part of it.
Big part of the show.
Yeah, I don't even.
It's like deleting
I
Kenny
watched
from
it
the
and I
show.
know about the meatballs.
the meatballs.
But, you know, it had to happen. The actor was tired of it because
Well,
South Park was being South Park and making fun of Scientology.
To be fair, they had it coming.
Chef was the Scientologist.
Yep.
on-
Isaac Hayes.
Oh,
He's a Scientologist, and then they did the R. Kelly Trapped in the Closet episode. And Isaac Hayes was like, fuck you guys, I'm going home.
Sorry, I ran away. I thought my dog was eating something he shouldn't.
But yo, let's talk more cartoons. I believe Chew wanted to talk about Daria.
I love Daria.
Oh my god. Now, if they were going to remake a show, Daria should be a show they would remake for this era. Think of all the commentary Daria would have about the world today. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I digress.
Like a six sad world anthology series. Your
Yes!
thoughts?
Yeah!
Dude, that'd be tight.
Absolutely. Oh my god, that show would be more relevant now than ever. Oh, just I loved that show. It was very witty. It was they featured so much of the best music of that time. The show touched on some pretty cool stuff and general slice of life and growing up. And I'm sorry, but I always shipped Jane and Daria. That's just who I am. That's every time that Daria was crushing on Jane's older brother, I was like, no, Daria, please. This is not right. I
You can't stop Jane was the lesbian and Daria. That's why I think Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy is the new Daria. But what if Jane went crazy and Daria became, an eco-terrorist? That's all it is to me.
I think Daria grew. Daria's like Britta from Community, I think. In a way.
I loved her so much because of just her monotone voice and just that sharp. Honestly, I would say Scorpio humor. That's how I see it. Like she was so sarcastic, and I just loved that about her. Ugh.
You know, it was a great show in the 90s that didn't exist.
What?
What's that?
Corey in the House.
Corey in the House.
Oh, please. I didn't watch Daria. The only show I think I watched on MTV was Celebrity Deathmatch.
I was going to talk about that too, Celebrity Deathmatch. And I was just talking to my sister last night about how funny would it be if Netflix did a mini-series where they did Celebrity Deathmatch, but like with some of today's celebrities. Like, honestly, I want to see Nicki Minaj and Cardi B just beat the hell out of each other. Like, I want it. I'm ready for that.
See, the
I
problem.
want Clone High to come back and to have a mashup with Celebrity Deathmatch. 100%.
Yo, Clone High. Was that show made by like Phil Lord and Chris Miller, I believe? The guys who did Spider-Verse? I think they did. I think they worked on Clone High. Somebody,
Wow, I didn't know that.
somebody fact
Low
check me.
quality
I'm gonna
content.
fact check myself. Hold on. But they can't do Celebrity Deathmatch today because before the show would air, they would find like racist tweets from the celebrity, and then the show would get canceled.
Oh God, you're right.
Because,
that makes a lot of sense.
and I mean, let me segue. I'm currently watching this season of The Challenge. For those who don't know, The Challenge evolved from the real world versus Road Rules. That's what it used to be. You had two shows competing against each other for money, and somehow that show is still on the air. And one of the people on this season, they said a really, really sensitive thing about the Black Lives Matter movement. And now they're editing the show around her. Like, they're cutting her out of all the scenes. She gets no lines. So now the show is just like, it's really funny because it's like she's not even there anymore. So that's what happened with Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yo, they did a BoJack on her.
They did. They should just replace her with like a giant floating like Lego or some shit.
Or just like do the meme version of Celebrity Deathmatch where it's the online inspired presence.
Or they could do the DJ battles they've been doing. Like, I think Nelly versus Ludacris. I think they did one where they're just playing their old songs.
You know what show would definitely be different, but not that different. Jackass wouldn't even be on TV. It would just be a YouTube series.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would literally just be like a YouTube series with 10,000 views. It wouldn't even be that big.
I'm sorry, but they're actually they're actually filming a fourth Jackass movie as we speak.
But why?
For real though?
Yeah, for real. I'm serious.
I love that those guys still want to die so badly. Like, they're getting close to the age where it's not going to be that hard.
Yeah.
One of them did.
they're getting there, It's going to happen.
You
The
know,
only time Jackass made me laugh was like they have something called there's a town in Connecticut right as you're driving straight through to New York City. It's called Miamis. No one pronounces it Miamis.
Of course not.
Miamis. I got it. I'm sorry.
Listen, I mean, I definitely love my Jackass movies, but like, holy shit, they're getting old. I don't think that they have too many more of those in them before one of those filmings goes wrong.
Listen, rest in peace to Ryan Dunn. I think it might be a tribute just to him, perhaps.
Maybe that's probably true.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm rewatching Viva La Bam. Like, I used to love like all the Jackass people, and I used to watch all the shows like Wild Boys and stuff like that.
I watch Wild Boys and Viva La Bam a lot.
Yeah, and they're just basically Jackass spinoffs. Like, one is a nature documentary with Steve-O getting, some random animals biting his ass, and Viva La Bam is just him like terrorizing his parents. But hey, all in good time.
I liked the punk. It's like I liked the premise of Jackass, but I want like a more elaborate setup. Like, I want a trap.
You want production value for your lewd comedy.
Also, just to interject real quick, I saw a picture of Bam Margera recently,
Oof.
and
He looks like his dad.
boy, he looks like his dad. Yes.
Yeah, he looks like
Don't
his
feed
dad.
Phil.
Don't feed Phil. Yo, what cracks me up is like one of the episodes on his show. He irons cheeseburgers on his dad's clothes, and I'm in the third season, and he's still wearing the freaking clothes with the cheeseburgers on them. It's great. It's continuity.
Oh
The uncle was my favorite. What was his name?
Don Vito.
Oh God, how they always put in subtitles for him. That to this day, that still kills me. I think that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, they couldn't do a show like that today, man. That shit's not politically correct. Like he's going to the Playboy Mansion and like touching up on the girls and stuff, and I'm like, ooh, that's bad. That's bad.
Uh-oh, the crab hands are out. You gotta put gloves on those pincers.
He reminds me of like a really like old version of like Johnny Bravo. Because if Johnny Bravo existed today, he would like totally get Me Too'd.
He already did. Did he turn into a woman?
Yeah, I saw that clip actually.
He turned into a woman. Do,
And
do,
then, he went back to himself.
do you remember the episode where he dated a werewolf?
I remember when he dated a deer, which was really awkward. I was like, is this gonna happen?
No, I'm pretty sure he dated a werewolf too. Someone back me up.
God, I remember that, and she turned into like a really sort of small guy that liked collecting stamps too.
That's what she turned back into? No way. For real? Oh man. That's like every furry that exists. That's bad. What other cartoons did you guys watch, man? Did you watch like Cartoon Fridays?
So I was just wondering about that. I can't remember off the top of my head when that started. I feel like it was just at the end of the 90s going into the 2000s, but fuck yeah, that was what I remember most from my childhood when it comes to cartoons. Like Johnny Bravo, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ed, Edd n Eddy, like that block was notorious, man.
Cartoon Fridays ended around like 99, early 2000s.
Really?
And that's when, yeah, because that's when things started to just go to shit. Because
Ouch.
the 2000s sucked for me. I hated them. It was a terrible, it was a great time for anime, and that's when, it was, the peak for anime, but I don't know. I just didn't like the 2000s. Until 2010 hit, it sucked for me. Anyway, go ahead.
Cartoons were definitely pretty garbage for Americans, at least in the 2000s. So I totally feel you on that. We only had a few gems, but they were very few and far between. I mean, we got Samurai Jack in the 2000s, and I insist that's one of the best cartoon series ever made.
We got the Boondocks.
Samurai Jack came out in the 90s, honey. It came out around, yes.
Really?
Ooh, somebody's getting schooled.
My time is all fucked up.
I didn't need your help.
I
thought it was early 2000s.
Really? Oh, wait, you were right. It's 2001. I'm sorry.
See, I lived that shit too, honey.
Ooh.
Rude.
Are you okay?
But yeah, no, that was a great example of 2000s cartoons, but there weren't really many. The 90s were a fantastic period of time, and again, they had that that just weird cultural edgy feeling. They were. It was weird. Every cartoon was pretending to be for kids, but was really for teenagers and adults, right?
It really
that was kind of the vibe for everything on Cartoon Fridays. If you watch Courage the Cowardly Dog, that shit gives you nightmares. It'll give you, a grown adult, nightmares because the imagery was super creepy. But it was good. That's what made it good.
Yeah. I'll never forget, I was babysitting someone, and I was like, hey, what do you want to do? And she's like, let's do some cartoons. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Justice League, sure. And we were talking about how good Batman was, and I was like, yeah, I grew up when that Batman was on. I turned it on, and Superman has just killed Lex Luthor. And,
Oh, shit.
Talking,
Remember that?
do you smell something burning? And
That's deep.
literally, I look up and I drop my phone, and holy shit, she turned to me, and I was like, I think we have entered a new era.
Why are you here?
Oh my god.
That was to me, it was a good series, but they canceled Batman Beyond for Justice League because they were like, we don't want those cartoons competing with each other, so we're just going to cancel it.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's why Batman Beyond ended on such a it didn't have a good ending. Canceled. Oh, we're going to put him in Justice League, don't worry. Oh, he's Batman's illegitimate son.
I
Oh.
the Mr. Creative show. I liked the whole vibe of it.
I never liked that twist that Terry was Batman's son. That was dumb.
I was.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That was stupid.
It wasn't even, he didn't even want to, to me, in that universe, it made me think Batman was gay, because it was I don't even want to have sex with a woman, I'm going to just inject my stuff into another guy, and then, here you go, now you're my son.
Oh, so you're saying Bruce Wayne is a pioneer of pride.
I mean, in that dimension, yeah.
Speaking of which, Michael Keaton is in talks to reprise his role as Batman in the Flash movie, which is relevant because, we had Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and then Batman Gets Canceled, aka Batman and Robin.
Batman gets canceled.
Okay, I actually I'll break that out. I have an inside perspective on that.
Ooh.
They went through so many fucking rewrites. I do not know George Clooney, but my dad used to work on his mom's show, so I actually know his mom and his dad.
Wow.
And they are both really awesome. And then he basically was on a sitcom, and then he just got, after a lot of hard work, randomly famous. The guy wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and they said, hey, try acting. And they were like, wait, what's happening?
Talking about George Clooney?
Yeah, and they gave him Batman, and he didn't even, see the script. He was like, yes,
Oh,
yes.
shit.
And they just kept rewriting the goddamn thing. It started out good, and they crashed it like a car.
Dang. Yeah, but there's a bunch of interviews saying from the cast and crew saying Batman and Robin was basically a 2-hour toy commercial, because there's even a part in the film where they change costumes for no reason just to sell that toy, and then they give Robin a car at the end just to sell a toy, and you got 3 villains because they sell more toys.
Well, actually, it was Burger King.
Oh man, like,
Let's be real, a lot of movies in the 90s and 2000s were just like blatant sales pitches. Like,
They were. I
Space Jam.
hated
Space
it.
Jam. One giant commercial.
Come on and slam and get your cup and jam at McDonald's. Get your Lola Bunny.
Time to
Flush
unleash
toy.
the ultimate power.
Yeah, the 90s was like peak capitalism and the celebration of capitalism.
Yeah, and it's like, there were some great Happy Meal toys, but some of those have, their own layer of landfill.
oh yeah, there was a lot of kids choking on those Happy Meal toys. They were very tiny, very tiny.
We had the best Happy Meal toys, because the toys that they have now for Happy Meals are just the worst.
Oh, they're terrible. Like, it's like a calculator, like an apple slice. Like, I think there was a paper.
apple slice.
There was a paper
Stop
clip.
it.
I don't know why they just give away video games. Hire some programmers. Make it fun. You have the money. You have the drive. You have the people you can contact in Lebanon and still pay a living wage to do this. It can happen.
I just get sad that I was telling him the last podcast that they don't have metal toys anymore. They're all like really crappy plastic. Not even good molded plastic. Like, I remember the Buster Bunny Tiny Toons Adventures toys, fantastic. I remember the Disney Parade toys, where when you'd open it up, it would be a VHS tape, and when you open up the VHS tape, you'd get Robin Hood or Mulan.
The
And
Burger King the Lion King toys from Burger King, man, those
Yup.
were great. Solid,
Still
hard
have those.
plastic, man.
still got them.
They're gonna be
right.
worth something someday.
Do you remember the gold Pokemon cards?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I still got mine. I got a gold Pikachu card, and I got my Mew from Pokemon the first movie. I still got it in plastic. I'm hoping to sell it. Maybe sell it enough to buy a quick meal at Dinosaur Barbecue, but I still got it.
I gave one to Kaze and I gave one to Twilight.
Oh,
my
speaking of
gosh.
which, I've seen John play Hey You Pikachu before, and it's the funniest shit ever.
It is a good game, man. That game was well made, in my opinion. Not well made, but it was made.
It was
And
made.
needed to be.
You were treating him like he was like your illegitimate son, and you were disappointed in him. You're like,
It's the only way to treat him.
you're like, pick up the apple, pick up the fucking apple before I take off my belt. Don't make me come over there.
He doesn't listen. That microphone didn't work very well, but it worked enough to be an abusive Pokemon trainer
Pikachu, more
that
like
had a very poor relationship with your Pokemon.
peek on you.
I want to play it in Japanese because I would, tell it. Watashi wa Jen desu.
I wonder if it works better in Japanese. That's an interesting thought, because it was clearly designed for a Japanese audience, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if its English recognition just sucked because it was designed by Japanese developers and it wasn't tested very much.
Yeah, because how do you apply speech patterns It's gotta be hard.
Sukiwari! Probably.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, did Action Man come out in the
Absolutely
90s?
Fix that.
But let's be real. The best Pokemon game was Pokemon Snap. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a gem from the 90s.
They're bringing that back too.
I went to Blockbuster.
Dude.
Like,
Why did we not get a Pokemon Snap remake on, like,
The Wii
the
U.
Switch?
The Wii
We
U,
do. It's
dude.
coming out.
It's coming
Well,
out? Oh, wow.
yeah.
I'm just under a rock. Don't mind me, guys. I'm a PC player.
Maddie, what were you gonna say?
I was like, yeah, I used to go to Blockbuster and try and get stickers printed. I wouldn't pay for it. I would just like take whatever other people's ones had taken and they'd left behind.
That's so funny.
That's awesome.
I had one with Growlithe, and that's when, Growlithe became my Pokemon. I took a picture of him, and I had like 6 of them. I still have 2 stickers left from that machine that I never used.
Listen, those stickers, those pictures were only the closest thing I had to prom photos. Were the Pokemon
Wow.
Snap photos.
I'm not even mad at you for that.
Pesky, you brought up PC games, and can we take a moment to talk about the Oregon Trail?
What's that?
The Oregon
Which
Trail.
got revisited by the Oregon Trail by indie developers, which I very much appreciate.
The what?
You've never heard the Oregon Trail?
Oh, the Oregon Trail? No.
So it is a zombie apocalypse-based remake, of the Oregon Trail.
I am adding that to my library.
You should
and I
look
get it
that
on
up.
Switch.
It's the revisitation all the adults needed.
Nobody
Yeah,
got
that was a
it.
brutal game, not made for kids. But yet we were all playing it.
Do you still die from dysentery?
What'd you say?
Do you still die from dysentery?
Oh, I think you can get dysentery among many other things, yeah. Of course, zombification is another option.
I remember Yukon Trail too, which was fun.
Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember that. I played that, I think, a couple times. And then, of course, I just remember all of the games from elementary school from, like, there was that math game. I don't even remember what it was called. Math Blasters, maybe, or something
Yeah,
like that?
Math Blasters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ew.
I hate math. I still hate math, but at least it was a game. That's cool.
My first PC game was Putt Putt Goes to the Moon.
My first PC game was Mother Goose's Storybook Adventure, and it was on it was like on a floppy disk, like a big floppy disk, and I didn't understand it.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know how to read, so I was walking and I climbed a beanstalk, and then you die if you don't follow the story as it goes.
Have you guys discovered anything?
Oh yeah, Shadow. Yeah, and then I discovered Rita Rabbit, and then furry stuff.
How do you know my name?
I know your name. We all know your name, Shadow. You do this every time. You just want to be popular. Stop.
Okay.
Thank you. Gosh.
My first PC game was that space pinball thing that was on every computer.
Yes.
That is a good starting game. That is a very good starter.
It was funny because I think I recently learned that a rapper, I think his name is Little Uzi, he sampled like the startup song for that pinball machine, like the sound effect. And I'm like, damn, he's definitely a 90s kid. You guys remember Clippy when you would like write like Word documents and shit? Little clipboard thing.
Dude, I would be writing my report. Dude would be knocking on my window. I'm like, my baby girl, stop knocking on my window. I'm writing a report. Flippy, you ain't funny.
You're like, go home, Clippy. Well, let's talk about some music. What you guys were listening to back then? Were you guys more Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Both, really, but
Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind. We got some rock in the house.
Linkin Park.
edgy.
I already told in the last podcast what I listened to. But I was the token kid, the only Shiba Inu around. Everybody else were bunny rabbits or chickens and sheep. And, yeah. What did you listen to, Yoko? Japanese pop music? What the heck is that? You can't even understand what they're saying. I'm like, what do you listen to? Well, we listen to System of a Down and Slipknot and Stink 182 and
See,
and
my
other bands.
was mostly a 50 Cent Jay-Z school. And if you listen to like Green Day or something, you got bullied. And that's pretty much how I went through all of middle school.
Yo, Green Day was like this one girl's jam. Like, that's all she ever talked about. It was like, Green Day is having a concert and I can't make it because my parents said that they can't. This was when I was in high school. And they said I could go.
See, and none of-
minor high school.
I didn't listen to any of that. Like Fall Out Boy and like Green Day and My Chemical Romance. To me, that's all the same thing. I don't know the difference.
Yeah, my first full-length album that I owned was the Pokemon movie soundtrack. Do with that as you will.
Guys, want a confession?
What?
You want to know the first full-length album that I owned?
What?
What's that?
Was it Aaron Carter?
No?
No.
No?
Barbie Horse Riding Adventure?
Was it Aqua?
It was, and here's a 90s throwback for you. Whatever fucking album that Dancing in the Rain by Ricky Martin was on tape.
On tape.
You
Oh
had-
my god.
On tape.
No. You had the Levin La Vida Loca?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, shit.
I had that on tape. I don't know where the fuck that is now, but I had it.
Oh, my God. That
You would have been
song.
celebrity status in my school.
Mhm.
Nobody knocked the early pop artists. Everyone was like, yes, we have it on the playlist. That is a thumbs up.
Yeah. I didn't get into like 90s music until I was like a teenager, and I went through my cousin's like music collection. She had a bunch of stuff. She had like all the Missy Elliott albums. She had all those were great. She had all the J-Lo albums. She had all the Jay-Z's. Yo, this was back in the day when Jay-Z was putting out a CD every single year, and he had bangers after bangers. He had Can I Get a What from the Rush Hour soundtrack. The 90s were good for soundtracks too. Like every hit movie had like a bomb soundtrack because you had all these great artists popping up there. There's a lot of synergy. Yo,
A lot of hungry artists too.
yeah, a lot of great artists in their prime.
Movie soundtracks.
Yeah, man.
Movie soundtracks back in the day were like my favorite.
They actually put effort into these soundtracks. They weren't just like a quick cash grab. They were like, yo, let's make a good album.
But no, let's
For a
get
good
some
movie.
really good people too. Like one of my favorites was I hate to say it, the Rugrats movie soundtrack. I really like that.
Take me
soundtrack.
there. I want to go there. Take me there.
Let's go there.
The Proud Family and how they had TLC for their.
No, and Destiny's Child, man.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Destiny's Child. That's what I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. Destiny's Child, man, and like, that they had some real bangers for openings for cartoons and for movie soundtracks. Like, just real good music.
Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam.
DMX had a lot of good stuff out back then.
Before he went to jail, or after he went to jail?
It was before he went to jail. Ja Rule was popping off. Like, I listened to like a lot of like rap from back in the day. Oh, Nas, of course. Talib Kweli was coming out with Black Star. And I just went back. I went back to all this when I was older because I was like, I didn't know. I was young. I was like 8 years old when these things were coming out, so I couldn't understand. Michael Jackson has some bangers, and Janet Jackson. Like I spent like one summer, I think when I was like 17 years old, just downloading all of Michael Jackson's discography on like BearShare.
Funny.
Yeah, man, and I would burn the CDs and stuff because it was just like so easy to just like get music at the time. And yo, he had
And then
some.
the Proud Family had an episode about like, if you steal, you're doing it wrong.
No. South Park had a good episode. They were like, if you download music illegally, Bono will only afford one gold-plated jet instead of
Yup.
two.
I may love YouTube, but I'm glad they finally Bono.
Oh,
All right, guys, I have a question. What is your number one, how do I phrase this? Your guilty pleasure song from the 90s that always puts you in a good mood. Pick one.
Oh man, let's fly like an eagle. It's by Seal, the cover by Seal.
Actually, I have to go with Fly Like an Eagle as well.
Get out of my head.
Let's not talk about who made it, but it was a good song.
Aaliyah's Rock the Boat.
Fly like an eagle. So I'm hearing it now. Since you mentioned
Yo,
it.
everybody
Yes.
loving it. It's a classic song, man, and I remember hearing that in the
So
theater.
powerful too. It's a powerful one.
It's a beautiful song. It came at, and it was in the Space Jam movie when Michael Jordan's playing basketball. It was like perfect synergy. It was like all the stars aligned. Like you got basketball, you got cartoons, you got great songs.
Greatest soundtrack of all time.
Like I was telling her last time, I watched Space Jam in the theater 4 freaking times.
And funny enough, I watched it before quarantine started with a whole bunch of my friends because one of my friends was like, I've never seen Space Jam before. And I was just like, oh, well, let's make it happen. And my friend loved Porky Pig. She goes, look at him! Look at his little tail! Look at his little pot belly! He looks like me! And I was like, damn.
Yeah, Space Jam 2 is not going to cut it. Like, it's probably going to have a crappy soundtrack. You could probably have Young Thug on it.
Oh, shit. Who's that?
LeBron James.
That said, like I hope Little Nas X is on that.
Yes.
The
Yes.
shout out music video to Chowder. The fact that it's about Beanie, that was
Yeah.
mind blowing to me. That
So
brought
funny.
me back.
That's so funny.
It's good.
They're probably going to recreate Fly Like an Eagle, and they're going to have, like, Chris Brown sing it now, which is going to be double worse.
Oh my God! Bring in Barbra Streisand or maybe my Wings remix with it too in chorus.
Yo, Drake.
I would have to say that my guilty pleasure song is Return of the Mac. Yeah. Return of the Mac.
Oh my god.
Last night I was watching I found this new YouTuber. He reviews hood movies, and he's like so funny. And he was reviewing New Jack City, and they started playing this song, like the title song of the movie, and I was like, oh shit! Like this, it was bouncy, it was grooving, like Motown swing. Like I miss that type of music, man, because you play that at any party or wedding, it doesn't matter what skin tone or what kind of personality you have, you're gonna get up and dance, man. Like Boyz II Men, New Edition, all those guys, they had some bangers.
There's
Love that song. Love it.
so many good songs from that time, man. And I have been listening to both Biggie and Tupac religiously recently. Like, just, so good. I love the way that music at that time, like the rap and the R&B, they would take like song samples from like 70s songs from like the Isley Brothers and stuff like that, and like just like
That's so true. Because
Ice Cube, Today Was a Good Day. Like there's so many good songs that sound samplings that came from 70s music that was just top notch.
you
And
know who took
I feel like that ended with Mr. Lonely, and I'm sad it ended.
you know who took a lot of 70s samples? It was Will Smith for his first album, because I'm going through all these 70s songs right now, all these disco songs, because I'm making like a playlist for the Dead Dog Disco, and I'm like, I recognize this song from Getting Jiggy With It. I recognize this song from Miami. Like, Will Smith basically just looked at the 70 and he's like, how much do you want? And he's like, yes.
That's
Yeah.
Yo, Ice Cube though, like the Friday movies, I love those movies, man. Chris Tucker, in his prime. Man.
Before he had that thing that happened to him.
90s comedy, man.
Yeah,
Can
man.
we talk about
Lost.
Eddie Murphy in The Nutty Professor?
Fat shaming the movie?
Oh,
Yeah, we can talk about
dude,
fat shaming the
that
movie.
Also, actually, that also had a good movie soundtrack. The Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
I actually got a bootleg copy when I was getting my hair done at the hairdresser. Yeah, I was at the hairdresser, and my mom's like, "Oh, do you want it? I'll grab it for you." And I only wanted Janet Jackson's song. Doesn't matter if your friends tell you. It doesn't matter if you take a poop. It doesn't matter if you take a poop. I don't know the words. I don't give a shit. I just like that.
That was
Because the
beautiful.
music video was so cool.
That-
Like, she was on, like, a plate, and the plate would rotate, and her pants would just, like, her pants were so 90s, and I was like, Mom, I want those pants!
Yeah, she
And
was.
my dad's like,
she
and my
was-
mom's like, you gotta, she was like, Wesley, you gotta take her shopping. And he's like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, she was on that one stage from Super Mario Sunshine where you have to like shoot the blue little things off, and it's like a balance board. I don't know.
Who knows what it was?
But you guys also remember on The Nutty Professor that it had baby Dave Chappelle, like young baby Dave Chappelle?
Yo, he was in that movie. I forgot.
I know he was.
He was?
Yeah,
Oh
he was a
my
stand-up.
gosh.
He was Reggie. That whole scene of him just heckling him on stage. Oh my god. Chef's kiss. That was
That's
the favorite part of the
fucking
movie.
right. I do remember that.
God, that whole scene, like, you know, messing with his fingers, having him playing the piano, that whole thing is like the best part of the movie, 100%.
I
It's
remember.
funny too because it totally shows that Dave Chappelle didn't change too much between then and Chappelle's show. Like he really just was Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, he just got more woke. That's all, which is not a bad thing. I remember seeing The Nutty Professor like a double feature because we used to do that a lot. We used to just like stay in the movie theaters all day, watch multiple movies, and they used to, dude. They were like claim that I was like a child until I was like 16. They were like he's just big for his age. But we saw Harriet the Spy too, which was like a big deal because it was the first Nickelodeon movie, and I to this day.
The orange VHS tape, I remember that.
Yo, the spy book with the invisible ink and shit. I had that. And it's like, I'm gonna write a secret message, and then I realize, oh, I don't have any friends. Who's gonna see this? But
You made me sad.
I want it to be like just like her and just write down everything and stuff. Cause I don't know. And you know, I guess it was foreshadowing because I still write to this day, just not everything. But to this day, I can't really tell you what the movie is about. It's just kind of, I guess, a coming of age story. Rosie O'Donnell's in there. You know, she's filming this between Kids' Choice Awards. And yeah, you know, she loses her friends and then she gets them back, and then she's covered in blue paint at some point, and you know, get off on that thing. I think it was like a live action, like Hey Arnold. I think it was a test run for Hey Arnold.
Was Austin Powers 90s? I think
Yes,
Austin
it
Powers
was.
was 90s, right?
Yes.
Damn, is that a comedy series that was very 90s specific?
It very much so was.
Yeah, baby.
That's a show. That's a set of movies that could not be remade.
It's not very PC.
But I was telling Edwin before, Austin Powers was very much so consensual. Although he was very sex addictive, he wasn't like, you know, let me drug you, baby, and let's laugh about it.
No. There's actually an article.
He was sex positive, but everything was pretty weird about race in that movie.
Yeah, well,
They were always towing the line.
who was next? Who was saying they saw an article?
I saw an article where they basically broke down like the Austin Powers films in terms of like how much he has sex, and he doesn't really have sex that much. He talks about it
No,
a
he just
lot.
talks about it.
He talks about it a lot,
talks about it.
but the scenes of him actually having sex are maybe like one.
He doesn't really. Like
It's all
implied.
the illusions and stuff, and like like the shadow scenes, like the shadow puppet scene, like that kind of stuff. It's like
Yeah,
very
it's like-
90s humor. They're going, look
I'm
like a
Shadow.
Yeah.
I hated. Speaking about it, the second movie where they stole his mojo, they were selling mojo juice. I was like, ugh!
What?
Yeah, they had like a mojo drink for Austin Powers. It was like a limited time. You get to have a sip of his mojo as a brandy. Absolutely not. I really want. I'm gonna find it now. Hold on.
On that note, I'm gonna go get some cereal.
That's
Beanie Goose.
fucking nasty.
I don't remember vividly what that tube looked like, and that still upsets me to this day. And I'm even entirely 100% gay, but that's still like, you just sucked out his manhood. What in the hell?
No. Those movies were a metaphor about toxic masculinity. So removing his mojo made him a better man.
Dang. Uh-oh.
You can't stop me.
Whatever.
I don't believe that. They have one of the best jokes that I've ever heard in cinema, though. Just for like how brazen it was.
What's the joke?
They're like saying, "But I'll miss the '80s time travel." It's like, all you missed was a flock of seagulls.
Didn't he say it was a gas shortage and a flock of seagulls? That's about it.
I'm mad because they're not. I don't see the juice.
Oh,
I gotta share the juice.
The really important juice that was on the loose in the 90s.
How
That
annoying.
was big news in the 90s.
Yo, but Jim Carrey had a string of hits in the 90s too. You know, you had Ace Ventura, The Mask. He was the Riddler, Batman and Robin. He did Liar Liar, Truman Show.
Yeah,
I
that was a
hate
good
the
time
Truman-
for Jerry.
You didn't like the
hated
Truman
the
Show?
Truman Show.
Why, it was too real?
It bothered me to the point where I didn't just feel empathetic. I felt angry that it's kind of like right now, like,
Yeah.
dude, are you watching me? Or, dude, is there a virus? No.
No, the Truman Show was very, very like prophetic. Like it predicted so many things that are happening like right now, you know, with social media and stuff and reality TV shows. It was way ahead of its time.
See, my problem with the Truman Show was the last time I watched it, I was really high. And that is not a good time to watch the Truman Show. That is a very bad time to watch the Truman Show.
No, you start to get freaked out. You start thinking,
Ideal time to watch the Truman Show.
no, you start freaking out and looking at your apartment for cameras and shit. You're like looking at the fucking Furby, like, is that shit recording me right now?
For real. Yeah.
I always think I always feel like someone's watching me.
Yeah, but In Living Color, to me, was like his special moment when we were introduced to him. And pretty much everybody on that show, on In Living Color, were amazing. And it wasn't until Hollywood fucked them all up.
They did. But, yo, what about Mad TV, though? That was like the golden age of Mad TV.
Yo, girl, let me get your number. Oh, your name Yvonne? That's a French-ass name. You want to be my little croissant, my brie?
Right?
That was the best Mad TV. I mean, like, what was his name? Stuart? Like, he was great. Don't get me wrong. He was great. But that was the best Mad TV skit of all time. So listen, girl, can I get your number?
I didn't know it was a woman playing it either. Like, whoever I don't know who she is.
That was in the.
but I see her.
That was more of like a later season.
Yeah, it was like the last season,
It was close to
pretty
the end.
much.
Yeah, but
Ooh. One, Deborah Wilson.
Ari Spears.
Yes. I look up to Deborah Wilson because she's a voice actress now. And she's my favorite Oprah. Like, I like her better than Oprah.
Yo,
Like-
she is the best Oprah. Yeah, right. Her impression is uncanny. I like the Ari Spears skit called Black Motherfucking Talk. And he would have like a bunch of rappers on and shit, and they would have like one white guy, and then they would like they would like say all these things, and the white guy would like tell a corny joke, and everybody was just like tell him to fuck off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, good
That's like,
times.
oh, that's pretty real because I've seen that happen.
Oh yeah, I always found Mad TV way funnier than Saturday Night Live because they were on Fox. You know, they were a smaller channel, so they didn't pull any punches. Man, they kept it real.
I mean, I did like SNL back in the '90s, mostly because of Will Ferrell. I mean, there was a handful of really good people back then. You had Sherry O'Terry and Chris Kattan. Like I remember watching a good bit of that stuff growing up. Like a lot of times with my mom, weirdly enough, I remember. And
Yeah. You had the Roxbury skit.
Yeah. Oh, TV Funhouse animated. I would watch SNL for that, or YouTube if I could.
TV Funhouse. Yeah, I remember that. What was it? The ambiguously gay duo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
but that's Batman and Robin. Right?
I remembered that thoroughly.
That's a con cosplay special.
Everybody knows it's Batman and Robin. Yeah, comedy was gold in the '90s, man. Like because, you know, just to be blunt, you can get away with a lot of shit back then that you can't get away with now.
'90s was the era of blatant open racism being acceptable. It just was.
Yeah, and you know they would say a lot of gay jokes too. Like if you, I personally never watched Friends, but I saw a video and they were like pointing out all the gay jokes Friends make, and I'm like, wow, what a big deal. Whoa.
You mean white noise?
Damn. Nah, it's Alex Mack. Oh man.
Somebody gets mad at me for that. I don't care.
Yeah, let's wrap this up, man. You guys give me your final thoughts on the '90s. Let's wrap this up. Start with.
Go back.
I'm going to end with the most controversial thing of the night. Beanie Babies from the McDonald's Happy Meal. They are still viable, and I will be giving them away at Halloween because those are like crack to kids today.
Wow.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful.
What?
Also,
Oh, okay.
I know someone that has like 200 of them for $10, and I am this close to doing it.
What? Yeah.
Do you collect Beanie Babies?
I do not. It would just be for Halloween or any stand-up comedy routine I would do, and you guys just gave me the idea to try and say, I'm not Oprah, but you get a Beanie Baby. You get a Beanie Baby. You get a Beanie Baby. Toss them out in the audience.
Dude, they would love it. They would love it. Like, oh my god, I remember them!
I would love a Beanie Baby myself.
Whatever it is you want to do, you can do it alone.
What
Oh
the?
wow, Shadow.
Damn.
That's kind of mean.
You're so rude, Shadow.
I can't
Well,
believe
Matthew
this.
just does that. We can't. Shadow, if you act like this next time, you're not going to be able to come.
Ha!
Come by.
You're not as tough as you look.
He's so mean.
Very, very mean.
Well, yeah, I think that I forgot what we were saying, and that it's a great way to stay in shape.
It is. It's a great way to stay in shape.
I know there was a lot of fat shaming in the '90s, and you know that
Oh,
that
yeah.
affected me as a kid, a voluptuous child, I should say. You know,
We were curvilineous, baby. That's all.
That's-
Curvilineous.
that's why we had shit like Riverdance and Tai Bo, so it was to like eliminate us from
Oh
From the equation.
yeah, Riverdance. I remember because I was the only black kid. I was introduced to Riverdance, and yeah.
Speaking of white noise, Friends handled fat shaming very, very poorly. Like, how they would lay into, I can't even remember what her name is, but there was the Monica. Monica used to be plus size, and by plus size, meaning, maybe 30 pounds heavier than she was, you know? And they handled that so poorly. Like, they would just have her wearing long sleeve clothes and, like, stuff a little bit of cotton in her sleeves. Like, she didn't even look that much fatter, but they just blatantly tore her apart for being fat. And,
Yeah, they Monica Lewinsky her.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point to bring up. What didn't you like about the 90s? Like, what are some stuff that grinded your gears?
I would say generally the racism and and the fat shaming in particular, because you got to think when we were kids, like, they always advertised all sorts of sugary cereals and, like, kids shows. They showed like all the cartoon characters were eating big huge cheeseburgers and all sorts of food, and meanwhile, you know, any other form of media, they're trying to remind you, hey, you're fat and you should do, like you were saying, Tybo and Riverdance and all that kind of stuff. Like, you should be ashamed to be fat. The only serious role that I've ever seen for a plus-size character, because we're always the butt of the joke, was Precious. That was the only serious plus-size role I've ever seen.
That was
No, it wasn't the 90s.
No,
But plus-size people, plus-size males were considered the butterball cutesy, and then plus-size females, unless you were Roseanne, forget it.
Or Rosie O'Donnell.
Well, Rosie O'Donnell, she looked like she did a lot of cocaine, and she looks skinny as hell now.
Wait, really?
Facts.
Google her.
I'm gonna have to now. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I remember all the commercials being like, join Bally Total Fitness today, or join Jenny Craig, and it was
Jenny Craig.
yeah, it was all about putting very attractive people at the front, you know, like Sports Illustrated and Playboy, you know, those were big magazines back then. Girls Gone Wild. You didn't see no plus size girls on Girls Gone Wild.
Plus-size girls were not
brown
allowed
girls
to
or
feel
Spanish
body
girls.
confident ever.
I would have paid
Yeah,
to see
and
it.
it's like, even back then, that was the majority of clothes that were selling, and I roll my eyes at shit.
Terrible. I could never watch Seinfeld. I thought it was boring.
One thing I will say about the 90s that I really hated was the gay representation was almost always death or a stereotype drag queen.
Or the butt of a joke.
Yeah.
It was always a lisp and a flamboyancy, and that was what, you know, being queer at the time was limited to, you know?
One thing I hated about the 90s was when my mom would tell me to go to sleep at 10 when I was trying to play video games, and I'd be like, Mom! No, but seriously, I hated the commercials. Like, it was so coming off of the 80s, like, style of commercials, and
How annoying.
it just, yes, yep.
Thank
Like,
you,
at least
Shadow.
now, something happened in the 2000s where all of a sudden everyone went, wait, people like Super Bowl commercials? We should make all commercials like Super Bowl commercials. And now commercials aren't that bad. Like, the first time you see an ad, like, a lot of the times it's pretty funny. And then, like, the next 50 times, of course, it's nauseating. But it's less annoying than it used to be. Like, we really sucked at advertisement in the 90s for anybody other than children. You know what I mean? Like, if you look back at any 90s commercials,
I'm gonna agree.
tear your fucking hair out.
Yeah, it was like more creatives got in on it after they couldn't get other jobs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree, because, like, I'll never forget the kids' commercials. I'm like, oh, pretty princess, oh, I want it!
Or it was like, yeah, drink liquid slam, or Tang is a kick in the glass.
Or my favorite was the Slimer High C. I'd be like, dude, forget regular High C. I want Slimer High C.
Ecto Cooler, hell yeah!
Yeah, it's still good. I don't even care. It's still good.
Just like that Szechuan sauce.
Oh, God.
What you need.
I hate how people tried to pretend like a lot of people did listen to awesome 70s music in the 90s, like we didn't still listen to the oldies stations religiously. It's like, oh, kids don't like that. Or like how there's supposed to be big-ass generational conflict. I'm like, yeah, no, I did with boomers back then.
The 90s were trying to bring back the 70s though. Like they had the bell bottom pants and some people were rocking afros. I feel like, nostalgia kind of runs in cycles of 20. So when the 90s hit, people were nostalgic for the 70s, and then throughout the 2010s, we were nostalgic for the 90s. It's just how it rolls. And the music, I think the music back then is more timeless than the music back right now. That's my opinion. But also means I sound like an old person. But yeah, who cares?
Emo's coming back.
Oh yeah, let's bring back emo. All right,
I'm ready for some new disco.
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 I'm ready for.
One thing that's definitely coming back from the 90s is techno's making a resurgence, because it seems that the attitude is going back towards techno, where it's not happy dance music anymore. You don't have a lot to be happy about, but we still want to party.
I think I'm surprised grunge or metal doesn't make like a huge comeback, especially with like all the rioting and protesting going on. Like I feel like people should be making like angry music, get some stuff off their chest. That's what was good about rap back in the days. Rap had a message, man. It was always like, either fuck the police or, the government or the man, don't let them bring you down. Like we should see more of that style come back. It's the time.
I think we're starting to see a little bit more of like a 60s, 70s approach instead. Which is
I
why
would
the
say-
music is a little bit more reflective of that time period.
I would say more 80s, because vaporwave is such a huge thing right now. Vaporwave is like, it's always been around, but now that it has an established name, more people are like, oh my god, vaporwave. I'm totally gonna listen to that mixed with Japanese music. It's great.
Isn't that shit already dead? Didn't it only last for like 3 years?
Nah.
That's
Swing's really fun.
that's some hookah lounge music.
Oh man, hookah lounge, that brings me back.
Oh,
Yeah, and like 60s style exotica. Real good.
not. I never get tired of the 90s dance music. 90s dance music, that shit always got me pumping, man. La Bouche.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
good stuff. Especially that early 90s dance, man, that was the good stuff.
yeah, man. Like, they had some timeless bangers. Like, I put that on Pandora all the time, and sometimes I have people in the car with me. They're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, you're probably too young. Let me drop you off here at Chuck E. Cheese.
Too bad Chuck E. Cheese for them is canceled.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Do you remember DZ Discovery Zone?
Heck yeah, discover what I could do on my own.
The ball pit. The magic ball pit.
Yeah.
Man,
I'll never forget when there was a Power Ranger at the Discovery Zone, and he hurt himself badly doing a backflip, and then they had to call the ambulance. Why are you laughing?
was he auditioning for Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark?
Oh shoot! Turn up for what?
Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch PBS? Like Zoom or Arthur, Magic School Bus. Yeah, it's good times.
Animal Planet.
Yes.
Animal Planet's good.
100% agree. Animal Planet.
Damn.
Steve Irwin, R.I.P. Hero, legend.
His daughter,
Mother.
really like picked the baton up and kept running.
His whole family did. And his wife, Terry, has not aged a day for everything she's gone through. She is stunning.
Uh-oh, I sense girl crush.
Ooh.
Don't worry about that.
Damn, I was the only boring one that watched PBS. Damn.
No, I watch PBS, Carmen Sandiego,
I watched the PBS News.
Wishbone.
The news.
Oh, yeah, PBS News.
Yo, Wishbone. He had like crazy powers, man. Jumping to stories.
Wishbone was the only series aside from Sesame Street that covered African American stories. Okay, and I screamed because I didn't know anything about it until Wishbone.
Do you remember that there's a lost episode where Wishbone he jumped into the Kama Sutra? Terrible joke. Man. Any of you watch Toonami?
Fuck yeah, I watched Tsunami shit.
Yo.
I think everybody on here has watched Toonami.
Yo, but Tom.
I didn't back in the day.
Really?
My sister did. She watched Sailor Moon and Gundam Wing and Tenchi Muyo. Like, I never really watched any of that, and I kind of like. I want to go back and watch Sailor Moon now. You know.
Well, you will this Saturday, so don't fret about that. It's going to be really bad.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm just listing off things before I forget.
It's not a good show. It's a show.
Yeah, I watched a little of Toonami. I would in and out. The only anime I ever watched on it was Tenchi Muyo a couple of times, but I really couldn't understand it, but so I kind of didn't watch much, but I thought it was cool.
Tenchi Muyo is a harem anime, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, I watched DBZ and Yu Yu Hakusho back to back.
I watched all of them. I
Watched all of it.
was the only kid.
The
Nightmare Room.
Oh yeah, the Nightmare Room. That was like from R.L. Stein. It was like an advanced Goosebumps.
What? What was this?
The Nightmare Room was another show. It was a scary show for kids. You know, it was like an Are You Afraid of the Dark type thing.
I loved Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was a
I hated it. I was so scared of it. But watching it now, I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty ridiculous. Why was I scared of this?
Yeah, that and Goosebumps. Like, I'll look back at that stuff and I'm like, oh my god, that's so cute that I used to be afraid of stuff like this. However, the opening theme for Are You Afraid of the Dark is still creepy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's still
yeah.
creepy. The music.
No. Fuck
That swimming pool episode still gets me.
that one in particular, yes. That creepy zombie thing in the pool, no thank you.
The scary thing was me not affording a pool when I was a kid. We used the hose, sweetheart. We used the hose.
I moved to Florida, there were pools everywhere, and if not, there was the beach. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick shout out to the Spiderman and X-Men cartoons from the 90s. That was like the first true Marvel Cinematic Universe. He had some great storytelling, and he got continuity and some iconic characters, you know, and iconic actors playing those roles. And
It's beautiful.
yeah, it was great. It's good times. I miss it. I want to go back to my childhood.
Sounds like you're tearing up.
You don't know me. Don't judge
Sailor
me.
Moon says,
No.
Are
Don't-
you shaking a Sailor Moon Magic 8 Ball right now? Because what would it say?
if I shook a Sailor Moon Magic 8 Ball, if it would have to be an American version, and it would be like, Sailor Moon says, do your homework, and then you shake it again. Sailor Moon says, don't let a man do everything for you. Do it yourself. And I'm like, wait, what? Who? And then I would shake it again, and it would be like, girl, I just moon dusted that bad guy. He did. And
Same
then I'd
to
have to
you.
put the ball down and walk away.
I told you, didn't I?
Yeah, see, Shadow? Yeah, you were right.
I'll take care of it.
No, I don't want you to take care of it, because last time you took care of it, it died.
Understood.
Shadow, you can't have any more Tamagotchis.
Exactly. I told him.
Is
I
this
told
really
you.
what our future
Anyway.
holds?
What time are we running at, buddy?
We're like an hour and 45.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you to all our guests. We'll start with John, do you want to plug anything?
No, nothing at all to plug.
I'm surprised you showed up.
Just playing some Sea of Thieves and talking about the 90s. Sounds like a good night to me, right?
Right. Can't wait.
Dig it.
Can't wait to play The Last of Us with you.
Okay, my friend Maddie, you any last word? Final segments.
I will say this. Seinfeld didn't deserve it. If you're gonna point to any show that was in that category, it was and always will be Frasier.
Wow.
I don't know. I thought
You said it.
I thought both of them were boring.
Yeah, that's funny. Choo choo. Choo choo bee. Choo 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 bois.
The 90s were a simpler time. We no longer live in a simple time. Just gonna finish us out with Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, and keep protesting and fight for what you believe in, and fuck the police.
Oh, and vote. And don't be suppressed by your vote. Fill out your mail-in ballot too.
Yeah,
Just
fuck
add-
Kentucky. Kentucky sucks.
Actually, I'm gonna say abstinence ring police because they do not deserve the joy that fuck.
That depends. That depends.
I just want to say to whoever's shooting off fireworks every night, I hope you choke.
Sounds about right.
And if you want to see the song me and Yoko wrote, you can find it at furaffinity.net/MC_frisky. It's good times. Yeah, that's about it.
And that's a great way to stay in shape.
Great way to stay in shape.
Yeah, screw Bally Total Fitness, man. That doesn't work.
You're right, it doesn't. I found statistics that it was true. Anyway, good night, folks. We love you. It was fun. And tell us in the comments below if there's a doobly-doo. What was your favorite thing for the 90s? Tonight at 11.
Are you okay?
I'm not okay. I'm tired.